Hi there, folks, and welcome to our final session on the sacraments and communion. We've been through bread and wine and grace and brokenness and fullness and all that stuff, and now we are at the final point where we're able to ask, what does all this do? What does all this mean? And God's grace, come to us through communion, transforms us. It transforms ourselves. It transforms our entire vision of the world. Now, God's grace that we receive through communion transforms us in three important ways. First of all, the one we've mentioned several times, that we now define ourselves as full and not as empty or broken. Now, we still feel empty sometimes. We are still broken, but those adjectives don't describe the reality of our lives, ourselves, and our purpose as well as the adjective full does. And this is a huge change. Our entire society, especially if you live in the United States, is geared towards making us see through the eyes of emptiness, judging ourselves and each other by what we lack. If we didn't feel like we lacked things, commercials would do no good. If you didn't feel like your life would be better with that new SUV or a better kind of toothpaste, if you didn't feel some kind of brokenness that made you go and purchase $600 cologne, the stuff would never sell. So the entire world and economy around us is geared toward making us perceive our lack, our brokenness very keenly, so we will spend money in order to fill it. When we are conditioned like this, we tend to view ourselves and each other through those same eyes of emptiness. We think about what we need. We think about what we lack. We're right in the middle of COVID-19, we are doing this. What's the first thing that happened when people figured out the virus could happen to them? Let's go buy all the masks. Let's go buy all the hand sanitizer. Let's go buy all the toilet paper. Now, it's doubtful whether those things did much good. It's not just spread through breath, so masks, who knows? Hand sanitizer, if you have all of it, nobody else is clean. You're going to get it because everybody else's hands are dirty, and no one has figured out to this day why people have closets full of toilet paper at home. It had nothing to do with anything, but as soon as we heard that we might be at risk, our instinct was to fill ourselves up with whatever we could get and go through anyone and anything we needed to do it. That's what the eyes of emptiness do. Communion and God's grace give us eyes of fullness instead, so that we don't have to worry about ourselves and filling ourselves. We are already full. Now we can begin to view the world in a different way and ask a different set of questions instead of just, what do I need and how do I get it? Now, if we view ourselves as full, and we know that we are beloved and taken care of, we can stop looking down at ourselves and grabbing everything inward, and instead begin to focus outward. What are the needs of my neighbor? And by the way, should I view my needs as superior to or more important than theirs? What can I do to bring a sense of fullness and a realization of love to the people around me who might not see things or experience things the way that I have? How can whatever it is that is in here that God has given me and is pouring into me spill out, so that we all get a sense together of being able to exhale, being able to not be so concerned about ourselves, and being able to look around and lift each other up. Being turned outward rather than being turned inward is an enormous gift, and one of the ways in which we finally end up finding peace with ourselves and with each other. And finally, this sense of fullness extends not just to the things we see and experience here, but to the things we will always see and experience every moment of this life and even beyond. We say that the sacraments, that communion, that grace, connect us to eternal life. They connect us to Jesus' death and resurrection on the cross, where sins were put to death and new life began the way it was meant to be in the person of the risen Jesus. But if that's too fancy for you, consider it this way. The only reason that death happens, the only reason that we are temporary and not still living forever in the Garden of Eden, is because the world got broken and we were broken with it. And having something broken last forever isn't joy, it's cruelty. If you have sickness forever, or racism forever, or poverty forever, if it becomes not just a life sentence but an eternal sentence, that is unimaginable. And all death, or the temporary, is an end to the things that are broken. But the things that are good, love and grace and beauty and joy, those things were always meant to last forever and always will last forever. And if we are no longer defined as broken, then we too last forever. And so we say that the sacraments, in filling us up infinitely, in making our brokenness not the center of the story anymore, connect us to life eternal, the way it was meant to be, the way it is going to be, so that we don't have to worry about whether we have the right toothpaste, like we just said. But not only that, we don't have to worry about death. And we don't have to worry about the end of things. We don't have to worry if we are just an insignificant speck of dust which is going to be blown away. We may be insignificant compared to the universe, but we are beloved and filled with all the infinite wonder of God's Spirit, and that will not end. And if that worry is taken away, what do we have to worry about? Now our entire lives and our entire beings can be spent celebrating and giving and loving and enjoying. And what an amazing proclamation that is. We hope that through this video series that you got a little better idea why we do communion and sacraments, what they mean, and when we participate in them, whether you're at home or whether you're here with us at church, that you get a sense that God is really with you, that you are loved and filled today, and that your life has infinite meaning and infinite purpose through your relationship with God and with God's world. Thank you so much for joining us. Be kind to each other and be well.